Hey guys, kinggath here with another patch for Sim Settlements 2. This is patch 3.3.2, which I'm calling Community Development. And that is because I have got a new little web tool I'm going to show you guys, and a call to arms that we're going to throw out there because I have some plans to get us all working together to make SS2 even better. But before we get into the patch notes and this community tool, I'm going to shout out and thank some patrons because it's because of you that we can have tools like this, as everyone and their mother wants to charge us software as a service fees, and it gets very expensive to maintain all the community tools and keep them on up and running and make sure that we're engaged with all of you guys. So I'm going to shout out a handful of you who've joined up to Patreon recently, and if I missed you and you joined up recently, I will get to you in an upcoming video. So huge shout out and thanks to Michael Hunter, Gekboy3000, Pyobo, Kavel, Aslan Kasim, I'm not sure if that's how you do that one. I think I got a couple of butchers of the week here. Pyobo, I'm not sure about. Aslan, I'm not sure about. And lastly, Enclave Engineer. So thank you guys all for your help. All right, so we got a lot to talk about today. In addition to the community development stuff I mentioned, we also have some fixes. And I have a few things I'm going to show you guys in-game first, because I think that there's a lot of new people trying out HQ or giving it a deeper look since we added the HQ automation project. Not to mention all the excitement around Fallout lately. So let's get into some of the HQ-related stuff. So a couple of things I'm going to show you guys. First thing to mention is that some of you have noticed that occasionally during the quest How to HQ, which is the tutorial quest, you get to a point where certain things won't build, and that is because the new system requires the resource costs to be there, and there's a point in the HQ, How to HQ quest, where you can't add additional resources to HQ. You don't have access to supply agreements yet. So we've made it so that during the How to HQ quest, everything is free now. So if you find that you're stuck in that quest, that you don't have the resources to pay for things, you should find after you install this patch, it turns off costs so you can complete the rest of that quest. Though I'm guessing most of you just skipped it when you got to that point, because we do have the cheat holotape to skip over quests built right into the mod. But anyway, now you should find that during How to HQ, costs are disabled. It will still show the costs. Like when you go into command mode here, you will see that the costs will show up under different, I'm trying to find a actual construction cost. Like you'll still see these costs there, but they will no longer be required. This is another little issue I'm going to point out, because this is something that ever since we changed to the task list mode in HQ, you'll notice that in the UI, it often will show 999 out of whatever, and that you don't have enough. It's grayed out. This is a visual bug in the HUD. It is something that we cannot easily fix. It's a base game behavior with the way this works. But know that as long as your little green man is highlighted green to where you can place him, it won't matter. You should still be good, even if it shows that 999. That is a limitation in the HUD. We don't know why it does that. It has to do with a feature Bethesda added back during Creation Club that makes it so that the virtual resource, or what is it called? The virtual workshops can have infinite build, and that does not support over 1,000 in costs, and so that's where we get this weird HUD bug. So you can ignore that. All right, so the next thing to talk about is the holotape fix. Now, this has been in here for a while. It's another thing related to How to HQ, but some of you guys have found occasionally that your people are not all assigned to the right department, or they're not showing up in the population in the upper left. So during the quest How to HQ, you should find that you have 10 people. So up in the top left up there in my HUD, you can see I have the little vault boy, and it shows a 37. If you're in during How to HQ, you should have 10 there. Then after Mansfield introduces HQ to you and the facilities department, you should see a little hammer, and it should have a 10 there. Well, if either of those numbers don't have a 10 during How to HQ, I'm going to show you how you can fix that. So in the City Manager holotape, if we load this up, and then we're going to go down to Tools. We're going to go to Advanced Tools, Quest Fixes, and the Chapter 2 HQ Reset issue is not the one we want. The one we want isn't showing because I'm not in How to HQ. So only during How to HQ will it show. Well, my apologies. I didn't realize that was, I thought it was anytime after, but apparently it's only during that quest. You will see another fix listed here, which will be the How to HQ population issue. So If you are having that issue, you see less than 10 up there, and the only department you have is facilities, come to this menu, and you will see one called How to HQ Population Fix. That will now resolve the departments as well. Previously, it would only resolve the little Vault Boy, but now it will resolve the hammer too. So you should have 10s next to both of those. So again, this will only appear during the quest How to HQ in your holotape. This is why I don't see it right now. So if you are having that problem, that will now fix it. All right, then the last little HQ thing I wanted to show you guys is something about a mechanic that I think many of you aren't aware of because it's not explained directly in the tutorials. The plan is to add it eventually to the Managing a Staff holotape, but I have not yet gotten to setting up those tutorials. You'll be handed this holotape and you'll find that it is very useless currently. It is blank. There will be a series of tutorials, much like the Preparing for War holotape, but I have been stretched thin and have not had a chance to set those up yet. So I'm going to show you guys a spot where there's previously been a bug. It's been fixed for this particular patch, and I'll explain what it is. So if we go to our science department or any desk, any of your department desks, and you go to the Manage Task List, and you go to, say, Assigned by You. These are the ones that you have queued up. And we'll go to this one. This is a great one that I think a lot of you are running into because it's a project that you need to do during our main quest, the COM array component analysis. So if you were to go here and go to View Cost, prior to this patch, it would probably show everything green. Well, now it's going to potentially show you the caps in a dark green, or grayed out, as I would call that. And that is because there is a feature called Daily Limited Spending in HQ that I think most of you don't even know is there. So previously, this screen would only check if your settlements, your virtual resources had enough to cover everything, which most of the time that would be the case. By the time you get to HQ, you'll have probably hundreds of thousands of excess caps available. So in HQ, there's a feature called Daily Limited Spending. I'm going to show you where that is. And basically, the reason this is gray now is because this now takes into account the Daily Limited Spending if you have it enabled. So I'm going to go into the MCM menu. You guys can also do this in the holotape if you don't have this. And we'll go into mod config, and you got to give me just a second for this to load. We're going to go down to Sim Settlements 2, gameplay, and then go deep down into HQ here. And you'll see these two: daily spending limited by HQ and daily spending limited by workforce. And basically what this means is every day you can only do projects up to a certain limit at a time, or projects of a certain scale, unless you upgrade HQ more. So you can see I have this enabled more. And the upgrades to HQ are just building more rooms. So for example, if you build if you build an armory, it allows you to spend more supplies. If you build scrap storage, it allows you to spend more scraps. And if you build or upgrade the treasury, which is a room in the basement, that will allow you to spend more caps at a time. So basically with this on, you need to build the treasury room, and it will get automatically built if you have automation turned on, but maybe it just didn't do it in time for that particular quest, and that's why you're bricked right there. Basically got to wait for more of HQ to upgrade. And of course you can, in the default systems with automation on and the task list, you can go ahead and queue up that treasury construction or upgrades yourself to speed things along if you want them to jump the queue over whatever else your staff is doing. So this is probably why you're running into that. You can also just turn this feature off. And then those of you who are playing on hardcore, you probably also have this on, and that adds an additional limiter, which is not only do you have to have HQ upgraded appropriately, but you have to have enough people in the corresponding departments to cover it. So caps in this case are enhanced by having more security. Security protects your treasury, and so that enhances the amount of caps you can handle each day. So if you, depending on the level of difficulty you're playing, you may or may not have these options on. If you find that that's too deep of a feature, you're not interested in that, you can turn it off here, and that will allow that as well. But basically those daily spending limits are now acknowledged in those pop-ups that show you costs. Now if you're wondering, how do I see those daily spending limits, this is where a feature will come into play again back in MCM. And for those of you not in MCM, I will show you guys how to do this as well. And we're going to go to the Sim Settlements 2 section. We're going to go to the hotkeys, and under HQ HUD hotkeys, you're going to want to set this guy on toggle all extra HUD data available while in HQ. And I set that to K. So we're going to go ahead and go back into command mode. Give it a second to load. And then I'm going to push K here. And you can see now the little section on the left expanded. And it has 3 columns on the right there. So if I hide it again, It actually has 6 columns total, but the first 3 columns are basically how much is being used currently. And then the middle column there where it has a little working man and max and a whole lot of 9s, that is the workforce spending limit. It's at 9. It's at a whole bunch of 9s because we have that limit turned off. Then HQ max, and this is where the limiter we're running into. The HQ max is how much can be spent each day based on how upgraded HQ is. So you can see we can spend up to 6,000 caps a day, up to 18,500 scrap per day, 2,500 supplies, 190 food, 125 water, and 1,350 in power. Now, the next column after that, that has the little logistics symbol or the little caravan symbol, and that is basically saying how much is actually available from your settlements. So the reason that it's blank for HQ under caps, scrap, and supplies is because you have the supply agreements window off to the right, that resources, which has that in detail, and because depending on the complexity you're playing, it can change which resources you have available. So for example, if you're playing on component complexity where you have to worry about individual things like leather and steel, etc., obviously we can't fit all of that data on this little tiny box under supply usage on the left there, so we just rely on the data being on the right. Now with food, water, and power, those are single numbers, so we can show them in that 6th column there in the section on the left. Now you'll notice that with this, under a couple of them, the HQ max column is grayed out, and it instead shows the logistics column is highlighted, and that's because while HQ can handle a max of 190 food, there's only 174 surplus food available. So it's basically highlighting the biggest number because that's your actual limiter. So in this case, if we needed more food, the actual limiter is our settlements aren't producing enough food, and that's where it's highlighted in that column. So that system is a little more advanced. So if you don't like it, you can turn it off. But for those of you guys who like to think about all these things and the level of detail and realism it adds, that is how that particular HUD element works. And again, the whole point of me showing all this was because I know there's a lot of people who are coming into HQ for the first time, giving it the first try. They may not have seen all of this. So the next thing I'll show you guys is how do you get access to that view if you are not using MCM. So if we go into the City Manager holotape, let that load up, and then we're going to go to Tools, and then we're going to go to Advanced Tools, and we're going to see if I'm correct or not about where this actually exists. Oh, it's not on this screen. Okay, so there is another spot we can do, and we'll see if this particular save has it. So the actual thing is called City Manager Tools, and it is an aid item that you can craft at a City Manager's desk. So we are going to go ahead and spawn one in for ourselves. City Manager 4. I'll see if I can find what it is. There we go. So we're going to go player dot, and I know you can't do this on Xbox, but you can go to a city planner's desk and craft one for yourself. So we're just going to add this to ourselves so we can show you guys. So we're going to go to aid and City Manager Tools, and the idea with this thing is that you would favorite it so that you have access to it quickly, especially on Xbox. So we're going to go to this, and we're going to go to HQ Extra Details View Toggle. We're going to go ahead and hit that, and then when we pop in, all right, and now that turned it off, so now we're going to hit it one more time. When we pop in, there we go. You can see that we have it there. So you do have access to it on Xbox. It just requires a little bit of a different step. You can't do it while you're in command mode already. You would do it from that little City Manager Tools item first and then pop into command mode. Then you'll see all of that extra data. So that is how you get access to that on Xbox or if you're not using MCM. All right, so that covers the in-game stuff I want to show you guys. Of course, check out the patch notes below to see the rest of the details. So now let's talk about featureupvote.com, or in our case, simsettlements2.featureupvote.com. And basically what this is this is going to be our sort of public issue tracker, but also it's going to be our future place where we post quality of life things or features that we're going to work on, and we're going to use your guys' input to decide what to work on first. So basically, the more people having an issue, or the more people who like the idea of a quality of life improvement or suggestion, the higher that will go up the list, just like a Reddit thread and or Reddit board. What do you call those? I don't know. A Reddit, like a Reddit page. And we're going to have our issues publicly displayed here so you guys can know what we're tracking, what we're thinking about working on. And then you guys can not only upvote it to get it more attention to the particular issue maybe that's bothering you, but you'll also be able to add your own comments and your issues that you've been having to those threads. We are not opening it up for public posting. You can post comments on existing stuff, but we are going to post stuff there because we want to keep this from getting overloaded. We would still like, if you have an issue that is not on this board, you to post it on our forums, and then once somebody on our team verifies it's an issue, it will get posted on our internal tracker and then also mirrored to this website. So this website is available now. You can see the issues that are on our radar, some of them that we are looking for more help identifying, whether it be, you know, some save files that have the issue, or most likely what we look for is replication steps, which is, all right, take this save or do this in a save and then repeat these 6 actions and you will have this problem. Like that type of thing is the best way for us to actually fix some of the issues. And speaking of fixing issues, if you are a experienced developer with the creation kit, I could use your help. The SS2 feature upvote board here is a small sampling of the many issues that we have open. We have a lot of issues that are under investigation. We have things that we're trying to enhance, quality of life features we want to implement, just so much stuff that I would love to get in. But I'm kind of a one-man show when it comes to developing and coding type things. So would love to have more help in that department. If you are interested, get a hold of me on the forums. Just DM me and let me know. Or if you are friends with me on Discord, go ahead and let me know that you're interested in helping me attack this list. I mean, literally hundreds of entries on our internal issue tracker, and I would like to get that down to, like, can we get that down to double digits maybe? That would make me feel better. Sub 100, I would feel much better. So if you're interested in helping out, definitely reach out. All right, so we will continue to update that feature upvote board over time. We can keep trying to put all of the issues we're aware of in front of you guys so you guys know what we're tracking, and hopefully that will give you a little more confidence in knowing that your issue will one day be resolved. All right, quick pause. I have to inject some more content into this video before we get to the giveaway. So this is me from the future, or I guess from less in the past. So this whole video had been recorded over a week ago before the next gen update dropped, before I knew that it was going to be such a big problem. And so I wanted to give you guys some information. So point 1 is that I added a new option into the holotape. If you go into the performance section, you'll find a new performance option called Conquered Defenses, or Allow Conquered Defenses, and you can turn this off if you don't want Conquered to upgrade, which should help with stability for some folks who are having problems with that area. I know Xbox players in particular have some issues there. In fact, on Xbox, it will start disabled even after you install this patch, so you might find that all those Conquered Defenses suddenly disappeared for you, and that was to help with your performance. So you can toggle that in the performance menu. Now on to the next gen update. So I have personally rolled back both my game and my development environment so that I am still operating on the pre-next gen update. And the reason I did this is because I've determined I can still upload old mods or versions of the mod made before next gen update, and they work with next gen. So this way everyone can function with updates to SS2. And I will continue to operate like that until something changes where it doesn't allow me to. So if Bethesda changes the way Bethesda.net works, where I can no longer upgrade or no longer upload without upgrading, I'll be forced to upgrade. But for now, I'm going to make sure that we can support whether you want to stay on the pre-next gen or if you did decide to upgrade to next gen. And I know some of you, like on Xbox, have no choice but to upgrade. So I'm going to support both for now. When we get to the Workshop Framework DLL update, which we are waiting for F4SE to release proper, I will keep the old version available as an optional file. But we'll cover that when it happens. I don't know when the F4SE update is coming. But just for now, know that whether or not you upgraded to the next gen update, you can still grab this SS2 update. All right, guys, back to the old kinggath. All right, now if you made it to this far into the video, you know the routine. I like to give away some merch. So I'm going to give you guys a hashtag, and then if you could leave a comment below if you're interested in getting some merch with this hashtag and something else. Give me a funny story, something happened to you in SS2, something you love about it, something you hate about it. Give me a bug report. Maybe it'll go on the feature upvote. Give me something more interesting than just this hashtag to look at. So your hashtag for today is hashtag upvote. because I'm very excited about this system. I've always wanted a issue tracker Reddit combination. I think that this is the future of bug support for my mods in general. All right, guys. With all that said, take care and enjoy the mods.